Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. And yeah, it's been a little while since the last one. I'm sorry. Life gets in the way. But we have done a pair of live streams and I'm really enjoying doing Sunday evening live streams now that the Runway Up is done, because I can actually make some interesting progress on the save, our world here, and be able to share it with you guys instead of it just being like, I did hours and hours of work and look, here's the result. Which is kind of what I'm going to do now, because I'm going to fly on over to the oil refinery and show you how damn pretty this building is getting. Now, it's nowhere near done. I want to do a lot more painting on this and a bit more greebling, but god damn, that looks way better than before, especially if I make it nighttime, where you've got those flares coming off the smokestacks and the heat vent there is opening and closing as the different machines spool up and spool down as the resources come in. It just looks awesome. We'll turn it back to the morning sun. So yes, this is coming along. It still needs a lot of work, but our tanks here are getting close. I believe they are about 60% full. So plenty of fuel there. And it is still all being run off of this little fuel tank and this engine. So plenty of power is still unutilized at this base. I should be able to quite easily make this the only power that I need for the entirety of my future endeavors. And so somewhere off of this thing, I'm not sure exactly where, somewhere off of the fuel tanks here maybe, I need to have a little engine room and have some like a room full of gasoline engines so that I can power the world. I'm thinking maybe off this side, send a little pipeline out and put an engine somewhere here, or maybe a little pipeline out and put an engine room over here. Somewhere where I can keep it separated so I don't have to listen to the noise the entire time. Put up a couple things that look like electrical transformers and then run all of the power lines from it out into the various other buildings that I'm going to create. However, what I've also done is a lot of planning. As you can see, I have a bunch of waypoints scattered around the terrain here. And essentially what I did was I flew around and walked around until I found every single little flat spot in this area where I could conceivably put a building. And we can see here we've got a possible munitions factory up near the oil refinery, which close to the oil refinery because it's going to need the sulfur, therefore needs to be relatively within piping range, so it needs to be beside the oil refinery. Aside from that, we have a nice long section here which I think is going to be our runway. I've got an area there that is about 500 meters long. It's from that spot to these trees, and so if I zoom in here, and it's about 450 meters, maybe 500 if I stretch it a little bit, that I can have a nice long runway built up with road sections using asphalt, which are nice 3x3, so 9 blocks in total, blocks, so that you don't have to put down a bunch of armor blocks that all take up their own PCU. These road sections only take up 1 PCU and cover 9 PCU worth of area, so that way you can save a lot on this runway and make it nice and cheap. So we're going to need asphalt. The primary thing we're going to do today is start this runway, start laying it out. To do that asphalt, we need to make another static drill so we can get more some tar, and then take that tar and put it into a I'm not sure which block it is that turns it into asphalt. It would be the cement mixer maybe, but figure that out. We need to just put a static drill into one of those blocks and then just set it to infinitely make tar, to make asphalt, and then push that into a container somewhere near here, because I mean this is all oil sands beneath here, so wherever I put a drill rig, it'll work. So that way I can work on the runway. But beyond that, we'd also have the aircraft hangars, because the runway would be here, and you want to be able to drive off the runway and then put your plane away in some hangars where they are nice and safe from the elements. And then a couple other flat areas in the proximity, resource processing and manufacturing here maybe. There's another building site over there, which maybe that would be better for resource processing. Not sure. But we do have an idea of how our sort of industrial complex here is going to evolve as we continue forward in the series. Now I'm going to turn the majority of these off, because we don't need to look at them constantly, except for the runway, because we need to be able to find that one, as we are going to be using it next. So runway, and as you can see down here, I have placed a block, and I wanted to use this block as the basis of where the runway is going to begin. I might go backwards a ways over there a bit more. Not sure, but we shall see. Yeah, but this is the beginning. This should be the right side of the runway. There's going to be some, I'm not sure what they're called, some exits essentially to the runway, so that you can get on and off of it without having to go to a particular location or having to go down a ramp. It's simply going to be just roadblocks straight forward, and then eventually it'll hit terrain, so it's a nice and easy transition. But to get that started, we need to first place down a drill, a nice advanced static drill. We need to get some power line out to it, and we need to start making the road section, which I need to remind myself of what production block actually makes that asphalt is a very good question. Production blocks. Synthetic? Yeah, synthetic mixes asphalt. Okay, so 5 megawatts of power from there. So, this is also a good question of how do I want to run that power? Because we are 1.5 kilometers from that electrical grid, where we've got the wind turbines and the hydrogen tank battery, essentially. And however, we're much closer to the oil refinery, and eventually I'm going to need to run power from the oil refinery to these various locations anyway. So I might string out, you know, the 5-ish power lines out to this location, so I can put a drill and a synthetics factory here. That should probably be good. But I might just need to slap down completely temporarily a couple engines over there as well. I don't know if I'll have enough power available, but anyway, for now, let's get our rover here. We have completely empty, as I'd emptied it out the last episode to make sure I just had a nice clean plate to start with, and we actually don't have that many steel plate right now. I just wanted to take some out because steel plate is good, but it's because we were building armored plate like crazy at the moment. You plate stamp, you can stop with the armored plate for a while. We already have like 1,000 of it, so we're good. Right. What we can do is since we know what stuff we're starting with, come on, parking released. Go! There we go. We can just drive the vehicle away a little bit, and we can just manually load this thing. So, we do have a little bit of food and water with us, so we'll dump that off. We need everything for a single drill. And we'll pass it back and forth. Although it should say we need so many steel plates. We already have the steel plates, so we don't really need to worry about that. We'll get... And then we just need stuff for like... Oh, I want to say like 6 power lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just do more. 7, 8, 9, 10. Just so we have spare stuff. Sorters? Push 1 sorter, I think. And 1 cargo container. 1 conveyor sorter. I really dislike the fact that paint and deposit everything are in the same freaking... I accidentally painted... That's supposed to be black. I painted it my off-white. It's so annoying. And then the synthetics factory. And what do we need here? Oh, just steel plate. We got tons of steel plate already. I stole it all before we started. Okay. And then just a cargo container of some kind. Probably just a small one here. Get rid of the road for now. Bada boom. Can't withdraw 3 steel plates. That is fine. We have everything we need. Excellent. Let's go and set that up. Alright, so here we are at the runway starting point. Now I think I'm going to set... so if I can park for a second. Follow me for a moment, my spectator camera. Essentially what's going to happen, if I can use the aiming reticule to show off what I'm talking about. The runway is going to start here, and then it's going to have a width about yay wide, and then it's going to go all the way that way until those trees. So that's going to be the body of the runway. And then from here, we're going to go in a little bit, and then there's going to be that off-ramp going this way. Here, and then at the end of it, about there. So I don't want to build my little processing thing anywhere near that. So I'm thinking, if I put it by that tree, I should be good in terms of not, getting in the way of when I eventually do build this. Because this tree survived my planning time when I was setting up the world and took this into creative, and I went, the runway fits right there, excellent, and made sure everything worked and knocked down every tree that was in the way. And obviously this one survived, so therefore it wasn't in the way, which is excellent. We'll grab a little bit of steel plate just so we can get things started. We will put down an advanced static drill. And this, of course, needs to be touching the ground for that drill to function properly. So we'll put it right there, facing that way. And we can activate the drills, which they are activated. Excellent. Build it up, boys. I'm just going to grab a little bit more steel plate. Yeah, we got thousands of... We got over 1,000 of it here, so I can take a whole stack to play around with. So this bad boy is going to build up, and his port was right here on the side. So the synthetics factory has a port there and a port there. So we should do, I think, is we're going to align it with the end right there. Bada boom. Synthetics factory. And then right here is an exit port. where we're going to put the sorter facing outwards, which needs aluminum, which I don't have on me. Come on. A little bit of aluminum. That is the port, correct? I'll just wait till that gets a little bit more built. It should be right, right? Yeah, I am right. So that port's gonna go there, and then small cargo container there, which will then hold the stockpile of asphalt without getting any excess tar into it, which is excellent. So now, to let that build up, as I plunk out 2 light armor blocks and start running some power lines. So one thing I've remembered is I'm always being like, okay, which way is the pillar looking at the top? And that is, it points, like the flat side is where the thing hangs over. So if I want it to be on the other side, I need this to rotate. And that was probably the most inefficient way I could have made that rotate. But anyway, power. So now, 200 meters apart, gotta run power over to that base. Just take quick waypoints here. Normal display will be good. And hopefully that assert thrust just goes the heck away. Couple 100 meters, and we should be good. These don't care about collision, if I'm not mistaken. Couple blocks, and then a power line. And just continue the process. Unplugged in. Yeah, 2 plugged in. 3 plugged in. And come on, the 4th. Excellent. Now we should have power back over here. Right? Yes, you've kicked on. You have a green light. That is excellent. For the synthetics factory, we are going to go into production and set this asphalt, which is... oh, it needs gravel. Ooh, shit. That's a conundrum. I don't have gravel available here. I'm going to be making oil sands on station. I need gravel to make asphalt. So, how am I going to do that? How am I going to feed this thing gravel? Okay, I want this to infinitely make me asphalt. What I believe I must do is move these containers out and then find the edge of this oil sands, create another drill there, power it somehow, probably just a wind turbine, then have it pipe gravel over to here, because it'll just get stone, and that'll just be an excess material. God, this is way more complicated than I wanted it to be. I thought there was just going to be like asphalt from that, but no. Alternatively, I wonder how much gravel I do have back at base. Have I thrown my gravel out? I was turning some of it into concrete, which I wonder if I want to make this runway out of concrete, as I do have this section here. What do I got for gravel? It's the times like this where I'm completely thrown for a loop as a space engineer, because normally gravel is completely useless. But there is 46,000 gravel here in the Discovery. So what I could do is I could just put it into my truck and drive it out there, which would probably be the easiest way to do it, instead of having to set up a whole nother thing. And I could even reactivate this old drill, get it back onto the network, and have it pile up gravel here. as a byproduct. And use that to feed that thing manually. It's probably the easier way to do it. But I should get some hydrogen while I'm here. Because I'm low. But for now, let's get this thing at least running and creating tar. And see if that functions. Because my other worry is that this base is going to run out of power. That is using 1800. And let's see. The got the, what is that thing called again? Synthetics. Factory is getting some oil sands into it. Otherwise, it's going into this cargo container, which I don't want it to do. So this conveyor sorter is going to whitelist, and it's only going to be... Oh, I'm going to move this anyway, so whatever. Don't need to...
Inventory full. Inventory.
Don't need to do that. I can just grind these two down, because they need to be moved anyway. Pick it up. Build and repair. Silly me. Alright, let's go back and get that stuff. Pick up a load of gravel and bring it back here. Doesn't look like this tar is coming in too fast for me to be worried about. Like, it's not going to fill this thing up, and I'm not going to be able to put the gravel in there. Alright, let's go. Right, returning with a nice load of gravel. Stuck in my car's tire. Thank you very much. Need to grab out steel plate, aluminum plate again. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put cargo sorter this way. Cargo. Just to sort of make it a little bit more compact. That sorted. So this way, this cargo gives me access to be able to put stuff into here. This sorter will make it so I can have only the asphalt going over here. And it'll be good. So this sorter, this one, the incomplete one. Asphalt? Is that how it's spelled? I'm having a brain fart now. No, Asphalt. Okay. I just can't spell Asp. Halt. There we go. So this will be whitelist for asphalt. Drain all. Excellent. And you need to turn on your build and repairs so that you can build this up. Then I can start transferring the gravel over and get this thing building. Dump some of those right now, as I don't need to fly at the moment. So I can take the biggest load of gravel possible. Plunk that in there. And what it should do is begin. It is making the asphalt. It is making a lot of asphalt very quickly. Oh, crap. Excellent. So each one asphalt needs 3 gravel. So I had about 50,000 gravel. So third that, you know, that's how much asphalt I can get. Which is more than enough that I'll need, because these roads are actually fairly cheap. They only need 40 each. And I think in total, my runway is going to be, I want to say 6 or 8 of these blocks wide and 50 long? Because I'm trying to think about how many normal blocks it is, because these are 3 by 3. So if it's 50 long, it would be like it's 150 blocks long. So 50 times a width of 6, which is about right, about how much space I'll need. Yeah. 300 of these sections times 40. I should be able to get that much out of the gravel that I have currently. If I'm doing my math correctly, which there's no possible way that I am, because I am not good at doing math in my head. But I can just dump this gravel in here, and then slowly asphalt will be made. And I do have that tiny bit of tar in there as well that the build and repairs picked up. So we can transfer that as well. Excellent. We have gotten asphalt being created. So that'll be running for a bit here. We can take a look at the cargo container. We have a couple hundred of it already. So we shall grab that. Let's go with 50, because we probably just need bring out the road block. Most likely just need a single one to place it. Now, are we losing power or losing production? Okay, power looks fine. Spirit of Le Mans, please fly away from me. Okay. Let's also grab some steel plate. And get to designing. So I believe I can go back from here. As what I'd like to start out with is the design that I made has the runway starting here. Then it also has a section over to the right, about 3 blocks, that will just barely be above the terrain. So I think I can go back to about there. And the reason being is there's also part of these roads which have road section ramps. And the concrete parts actually kind of intrigued me, as I can have these concrete bits going 1, 2, 3 up towards the runway, and these are 3x1, which normally we don't have access to, because the blocks that we have only allow us to do it 2x1, which is a bit too steep. But theoretically, some of my planes might be able to get up this 3x1, or at least it wouldn't be as punishing if the plane rolled off the side of this. Let's see. Because this is the very beginning here. I believe we can go a tiny bit further this way. I think the base of the runway is going to be right here. So this 3x3 is the corner. Going that way, it's going to be ramping up, and going this way, ramping up. So then, boom, boom. That is the first. This is where the runway will be starting. So the block, the road section, can start there. We just need to properly center that. Road section, first part of the runway. Click. Excellent. So what we're going to do is we have that one being a line on the right side. And I think I just want to build this up real quick. I'll go back and get a little more asphalt. But, oh, yeah, baby. Nice asphalt road top here. Perfect. And then very easily, we can fly back to the production and grab ourselves some more asphalt. I'm just going to quickly pop into GPS and get rid of all these points that I made to lay out the power line. Not needed anymore. And we are running out of hydrogen because I dumped them all into my vehicle and completely forgot about them. There we go. Come on, fill me up. There we go. So, from here, we have various other patterns. But I think I want to do is blank. Now this is where I'm choosing whether or not it's 6 or 8 wide. If I do 6 wide, it would be another single line there, and then a single line together. I think that's what I want to do in the center. So we have a nice double solid white line down the middle of the runway that you can pick up on, and you can see from a distance, and you can hit the middle of the runway. So then it would be that, then blank, then single line. The question is that wide enough for every plane that I want to eventually make? Where, for example, there is, I eventually want to make my B-2 bomber that I never got to use in Runway Up. And if I quickly pop into creative for a second, just so I can like have that blueprint out and I can see how big it is, we can see that that's actually pretty damn big comparatively to that runway. So the wings will be hanging off the side of it. And if I look at my 130, same thing, the wings are going to be hanging off the side of it. Not as much, but they will. So if I go another 2 blocks out, you have plenty of room to land the C-130 completely on the runway. So I think that's the plan. I think we go another couple blocks. So as such, that one would be incorrect. And we'll just pull back to here. So it'll be line, blank, blank, and then left side line, right side line, blank, blank, left side line. And have plenty of fuel. Yes, I do. Okay, good. And then at that point, this tree starts getting in the way. So it needs to come down. At that point, if we take a look at the size of these planes again, then, yeah, that's fully landing on the runway, and there's plenty of space on either side for the wingspan. So anything I make should be able to fit in that wingspan area, I believe. Then I don't need this block because it is connected along the edges here. Although I will go along and just put in a support beam just because I want to. And then along this end, I'll put in a support beam as well. It also allows me just to go down to the ramp sections a little bit easier. Excellent. So now I just need a bit of concrete, don't I? Well, there is some concrete back at base. I can bring that over eventually. And I shouldn't need all of this. I should just need that to connect the corners. And then this will be just a thing off to the side, a slightly lower area with, I don't know, put like a searchlight on there, put like a, mark the planes as they're coming in, to turn the AI on to track you Be kind of fun, having the spotlights light you up as you come in, or even just regular old spotlights just pointing upwards and illuminating the beginning and end of the runway. But something like that. So then after that, we just need to drag it out forward, which will be oh my god, that'll be a very long stream of me actually building this thing. But aside from this, I'm thinking we're gonna go from there, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to use another section of the road for intersections. And they have, in this group here, one that just has a tiny little thing in the corner. So we're going to put a tiny little thing in the corner there, which takes our solid white line from this edge. And then we're going to do a blank road, and then a tiny little corner on the opposite side. So we'll go back to intersection. Oh, is that intersection 5 here? Road section blank. Yeah, not 5. I don't want 5. I wanted, because I couldn't see it all, I wanted intersection... where is it? Aha, here, intersection 4. That's the one that has just the tiny little corner. And then that would be tiny little corner in the bottom left here. Like that. So now we have a 3 wide... I wonder if I should make this 5 wide. Because if this is 8, this could be 5 for an off-ramp. So this will be 3 from the end. So you drive on, you turn your plane around, then you take off. And if you land coming that direction, of course they'll be mirrored over there. You can come to a stop, but then before you get to the end of the runway, you can have a nice place to turn off and come this way. So let's do that. Let's make it 5 instead. So we'll go to that. We'll go, because there's 1 blank section currently. We'll go 2 more blank sections. This runway is getting bigger and bigger as I build it. And do that. So now we have our single line here. Bada boom. Bada boom. And there's going to be a intersection 1 here. This block. So then I want to put our single line side on the left. And what I should be able to do, if I build this up, and get some more asphalt. As you are building all my asphalt that I need. Wow, oh, we gotta get 1,000 of it. This is awesome. I should load all this up. Put a connector on that, load it all up into this thing, and then just bring this over for building, but that'll be during the streams. And we should have a nice, continuous little corner here. Lines heading this way. And then we just continue that into the hill as far as we can, until we're not able to place another one. So I could conceivably place another one there, and there we go. So then we're able to have our planes come down this little taxiway, get out onto the runway, turn to face the runway, power off, and take off. And then when they come back to land, they can land down the runway, come to a stop, turn, and then take the exit ramp off. And that is going to be the ultimate plan for this runway. And I am so thoroughly excited to get this built. But oh my god, I'm thinking about all the goddamn work it's gonna take. There's going to be so much asphalt required. The other part of this is going to be a bunch of a bunch of concrete, a bunch of iron. I'm going to be having to power this thing so that I can put runway lights on it. Although, bad part about these road sections is you can't put things on them directly. Because they act kind of like catwalks or armor panels in the sense that they only occupy the bottom part of the block, but they, for some strange reason, actually have attachment points above them. So you can, like, attach something and have it there, and that's attached. And then you can walk through here. So these roads do allow you to make some really interesting structures because you can essentially stack them where you couldn't. Like, this is completely illogical, but that's just because they have an attachment point on the roof. But I'm going to have to line the sides of them with lights the entire way around. So, probably something like corner lights or interior lights. See how it fits. See what I can make work. But that is going to be a very, very, very long project. And not something I'm going to be finished anytime soon. Or even like, oh, I'll do that done next stream. Oh, God, no. I'll make progress. And I'll make progress ever so slowly. Even just getting this all placed, if I do things gently and land nicely, I should be able to land on this thing even without it being welded up. Especially just having the landing, like a landing spot welded, where the rest of the runway can just be unwelded because I'm just rolling past it. But I have my work cut out for me. As I figured this was what I should be doing in terms of starting to get built rather than making a fuel truck, because I don't really need the fuel truck at this moment. But this is definitely needing to get to work. But that is going to be it for now. The runway is going to be a major project, and I can't wait until it's complete. But thanks for watching, and good hunting out there, fellow space engineers.